Hello, I'm Kemeshi Samuel, host of the Main Africa podcast. And in the studio here with us is someone we've been trying to get for the longest time. But finally, we are here. She's Jennie Nwokoye, co-founder and founder and CEO at Clafiya. Thank you for doing this with us, Jenny.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I know it's been hard to get me here, but I'm super happy to be here and thank you for inviting me.
Amazing. I'm actually very excited for our conversation because I've been following Clafiya's journey, and I just want to learn how it came about, right? And what the story so far building it has been like for you. So first question, and I asked this to know if the guest or my founder grew up in an entrepreneurial like background. So would you say your parents were entrepreneurial, or did you grow up in an environment where people were always trying to solve problems or build something of their own?
Yeah, so it's a mix of both. I think for me, I'd say like my siblings or like my parents might even describe me as someone who liked to fix things.
Interesting.
So that's how I was always like fixing appliances around the house. But then my dad is both of my parents are very entrepreneurial, but my dad is like, has been able to exercise his entrepreneurial like flexes.
All right.
So I would say learning from him. Then there was a time when I lived in Nigeria when I was much younger.
Okay.
So from 2000 to 2005.
Okay.
And I got to see, my dad's entrepreneurial like journeys, but other people too, in my family, I just hear them say, oh yeah, I have this one business, this business. And it just seemed like everybody
like
just
the
had
common
businesses.
thing, yes.
So yeah.
Like that's
yeah.
way to go.
Yeah.
Interesting. So growing up, and so for me, at different stages of my life, growing up, I wanted to be different things, like different careers. So it changed as I got older and I got exposed to the opportunities around me and what made sense for the country that I'm in, right? What I could actually build a living out of. Did that change for you? Was there any point in your life where you wanted to be, say, the most common one, a doctor, and then eventually switch to something else?
Funny, I never wanted to be a doctor. Like,
me too. Like
never.
I've been saying this every time. Like it never crossed my mind.
Yeah, I had never had a desire to be a doctor, but I wanted to be a few things.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an astronaut. And then, I wanted to be an astronaut. Then, in undergrad, going into my first graduate program, I wanted to be a forensic anthropologist.
Really?
So I got my bachelor's in biomedical sciences and a minor in anthropology.
Right.
Then I went ahead and got my master's in forensic science. And halfway through that, I realized I didn't really want to work in a lab. I would say the main thing that has been constant, though, is that I wanted to be an engineer.
Okay.
So, but the kind of engineer I wanted to be, I didn't really have a clue. And my dad's a civil engineer, so I think that's probably where it came from. But I also wanted to be an engineer, but I just never went to school for engineering until like I went to Georgetown for systems engineering. So I just feel like over time, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. I knew I wanted to solve problems. And not in the most traditional sense. So that's really what I knew I wanted to be like, or do rather throughout my life. Yeah.
But wanting to be an astronaut is the first on the show.
Yeah.
It's the first time. Can you speak to what maybe gave influence that desire at that time?
Yeah. So I was born in Orlando.
Yeah.
And in Orlando, they have a space center called the John F. Kennedy Space Center.
Okay.
So which was a really big thing for elementary schools at the time because we got to see when space shuttles would take off.
Really?
Yeah, like it was like a thing. On specific days, everybody would just go outside and just watch it go off. We also got to visit the space center.
Nice.
So those are the things that inspired me to want to be an astronaut. Yeah.
So tell us about education. Yeah, I know you mentioned you went you schooled in the US. What was that experience like for you? And have you had any type of like formal education here in Nigeria? And how can you like juxtapose both of them?
Yeah, so my education in the United States when I was younger, I don't really remember a lot of it, except maybe in third grade.
Right.
And the only thing I do remember, aside from watching spaceships take off, was my teacher really emphasize math
Okay.
or mathematics. So we would do like these competitions with like the sixth graders every Friday. We would go to their class and we will like do our timetables.
Yeah.
And we would always like beat the sixth graders.
Right.
At least like two guys in my class, they would come first and second. Then I would come third as far as like quickness to complete.
Wow.
As far as like quickness to complete all our timetables. And you see like the sixth graders like struggling to like complete theirs. And then formal education, so I did primary 4 and 5 here. Ooh. And then I did JS1 to JS3 in Nigeria. So I did 2 years at Faith Academy in Ogun State. So they're the secondary school that is connected to Convenant University. Winners. So a lot of people know Convenant University, but they don't really know Faith Academy. So I went there, and then I did my last year in Anambra State at Girls Secondary School. So it was like a state school. My mom also went to the school, so it was also like a pretty cool experience.
Fantastic. Tell us about give us a timeline. College or university, whichever one. I mean, both applies to you, right? Because when did that end? That's timeline for that, and what was your like early corporate experience after graduation?
So I finished undergrad, which is like college, in 2012. And then right after, I went into my master's program in forensic science. So I would say like my first corporate job was, do you include internships as corporate?
I mean, because oftentimes is how you get your foot in the door. So I think we can count that.
Definitely. So I'll say like my first real opportunity I got was working as an intern at the Secret Service in my master's program. So that it wasn't paid.
Wow.
But it was
that's cool. It's beginning to settle now.
So
interesting.
It wasn't paid, but it definitely got my foot in the door. I got a top secret clearance, and then from there I got to work in other parts of the U.S. federal government. So
oh my goodness, what was that experience like, working in the Secret Service?
So
I mean, were there obviously there were confidential stuff you had to deal with?
I mean the secret clearance is like a deep dive into the person's life. So they interview everybody, just about anyone who's known you, your parents, where you lived, your friends, like where you've traveled. You can fill out the paperwork digitally, but when it was just pen and paper, the paperwork was this thick, and it was like writing things over and over again, like your lifestyle, do you do drugs? So that was a pretty eye-opening experience. But then being at the Secret Service was really cool because at the time they wanted to, they were starting to build their digital ink library. Are you familiar with crime shows?
Yeah, not so much, but I think I watched a few years.
Yeah. So like so the system that analyzes DNA samples is CODIS. And then for fingerprints is APHIS. And the Secret Service, they have the largest collection of digital inks from around the world. So like inks from your pen, inks from your printer, anything that has ink, they have a sample of it, and they wanted to digitize the analysis of it. So they wanted to build a digital ink library. But before you do that, you have to standardize how you analyze those inks and make like a reference sample. So my job was to basically come up with the solvent system. A solvent system is like a combination of different solvents that they use to analyze the ink. So the thesis is like, you get a fraudulent document. With the ink, you can date like when the ink was created, and based on that can date like if this document is like true to form. And there are other things that they take into consideration, but ink is one of them. And so when you put it through the solvent system, you get to see its ink profile. Like a DNA sample, you see like the different like components in the ink. So if it's blue ink, you see a bunch of like different blue dyes, but it splits and you see like all the inks, all the combinations of what makes that ink sample unique. And then for black, you see like yellow, you see pink, you see red, you see green, everything that just makes it.
And it's accurate.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I was doing there. Cool, but it was a pretty eye-opening experience because like I never saw myself working at the Secret Service. Like I said, I wanted to, be a forensic anthropologist. Exactly, but that was a pretty eye-opening experience.
So did you not want to continue there?
So they didn't have like openings for full-time roles at that time. But what that did allowed me to explore other places in the federal government. And so that's how I started working at the Department of Homeland Security in their Science and Technology Directorate. Right. Why I was happy about that was because by that time I had already established that I did not want to work in a lab. Okay. So by the time I got there, I wasn't working in a lab, and I had not worked in a lab since then. Yeah.
Fantastic. This was like around 2013, 14, I assume. Okay, or presume rather. So at what point in time did the idea for Clafiya begin to form? Or what happened after the Secret Service and then Homeland Security?
So, I mean, what happened afterwards is I worked in the federal government. I worked at Department of Defense, and I was in the intelligence community. So I was doing an intel analysis on chem bioterrorism. Wow. So that's what I was like gearing my career towards that. Yeah. But at the back of my mind, I always knew I wanted to do something in Nigeria. I just didn't know what it was and when that was going to happen. As a matter of fact, so I graduated with my master's in forensic science in 2015. And shortly after I was applying for roles, I interviewed for a job at the CIA. I made it all the way to the last round. And it was like that whole interview experience. When I look back, was very easy. Amazon was by far the hardest job interview experience I've had. But I'll get to that. Oh yeah, no.
Like the other way around.
No. Like just the interview process for the CIA, I believe, is pretty easy. But then once they say that they want to hire you, that's when you go through other things and that's even conditional employment. So they give you a conditional offer, but it's contingent on you getting a security clearance, passing your polygraph, doing all these different psychology tests or fitness tests. So but I remember they asked me, where do you see yourself in 10 years? This is 2015. And I said, I will be building a company in Nigeria. That's what I said.
Wrong.
And I didn't get the job, but I'm actually building a company in Nigeria now. But when
do you think that's one reply maybe influenced them not hiring you?
Oh yeah, of course, because the CIA is like a lifetime commitment. They invest so much into you. They don't want you out in 10 years. Right. And especially because of what I was being assessed to do, they definitely don't want me out in 10 years. So, but it was the honest answer I had. So that's what I said.
I like that. Tell us about your time at Amazon.
So Amazon, I was poached from Deloitte.
Really?
I wasn't looking for a job at Amazon, but it was during the pandemic. All the tech companies, now you've seen them, they're doing layoffs, but at the time, they were on hiring sprees. They were hiring everybody. So a recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn and was like, hey, would you be interested in working at Amazon? I'm like, sure.
Why not?
Why not? So I went through the interview process, and like I said, by far the hardest interview I've ever had. So you meet with the recruiter, they meet with the hiring manager, at least my experience. Then you do a writing test, and then if you pass all of that, they make you interview with 6 different people that you would be working with in your role, so in different departments. So before then, they advise that you know their leadership principles in and out. And at the time, I believe they had 14. So you have to know all their leadership principles in and out, and they are assessing you on that. So you have to come up with 3 different examples as to why you were. Give me a time when you were customer obsessed. or you had bias for action, or like you were frugal, like these kind of things. You have to come up with 3 different examples. So, and one day
That's quite detailed.
Yeah, it's very intense. So in that day, I interviewed with 6 people, actually 7, because the 7th person is the bar raiser.
Okay.
And that means like you have to show that you're better than the people that you are going to be working with. So if you do not pass the bar, they're just like, okay, come back in 12 months.
Yeah.
So I passed the bar.
Yeah.
And then, I got the job at Amazon. But I would say like working at Amazon, I'm really happy that I got to do that because it set the foundation for Clafiya. Like I think AWS, so Amazon, is like the biggest startup ever that I've ever worked at. There's a big company, but everybody works in teams, and you have to be fast. Like their number one leadership principle is like customer obsession. And I worked on a global team, so I had customers that were everywhere. Customers in Asia who are sending me emails, "Hey, I need this. Can you help me with this?" And I'm like, it's 10 p.m. my time, and I have to respond. And my manager is like, "Oh, thank you for being customer obsessed," and I'm just like, "No, this is like craziness." But now that I'm building a company in a startup phase, a lot of those things make sense. Like Amazon, they're very frugal with how they do things. Like they build a lot of their tools in-house, and it can be clunky, but it gets the job done. Because on the other side of things, the customer just knows that I got my package. The customer just knows that I'm building, I'm building on AWS infrastructure, but they don't know the madness inside of it. And so that, like at the time, like I was like, this is crazy. I don't know if I can be here long, but now I definitely understand, appreciate it. And obviously that's part of the reason why Amazon is what it is today.
Now, you said that it sort of like laid the foundation for Clafiya. So at what point did you begin to like ideate on what would then become Clafiya?
Yeah, so this was during my second master's program in systems engineering at Georgetown. So by that time I started to...
a lot.
Me?
Yeah. You must like reading.
I don't think so. I think like education was, I knew that, I like to say that I'm pretty intelligent. At least I know that about myself. And so education was a way for me to flex my strength. So and get like access to different opportunities, but that can't really sustain me, right? Because I can't be in school my entire life. But I think in a way, it was a way for me to kind of hide from the real world. But I did like my time at Georgetown. So by that time, I started to gain an affinity for healthcare. Where that came from, I'm not particularly sure, but I at least started to like healthcare. And so the number one question was, can we make access to healthcare in Africa better? And so at Georgetown, I started to narrow in on community health workers, seeing them as this underutilized resource that can be the pillars of health and primary care, and they weren't really utilized. So it was more so a way to position them to bring healthcare closer to people. And so it wasn't supposed to be a business or anything. It was just like, it's some cool concept. But my professors, they encouraged me to think of it as a company. So that's when I started pitching around Georgetown. I won some pitch competitions here and there. This is like pre-COVID. And I remember some of the judges like not really understanding why we would send community health workers to people's homes. And then COVID happened, and that's when it was like,
timing. Yes.
Can you get funded for this? I'm just like...
I saw this before, way before you guys. Like,
so that's essentially how like Clafiya came to at least grow legs. But even at that, I was still working at Deloitte and then transitioned to Amazon. So it wasn't anything I was committing to full time until 2021. TechCabal had wrote an article about Clafiya, and it went viral. I'd never heard about TechCabal at the time. So when they said they wanted to write about us, I said, yeah, sure. I wasn't even sure they were going to publish it. And then they did, and they went viral. And we got inbound.
Yeah.
And one of the investors that came to us was Microtraction.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Microtraction.
Yeah. So, exactly. Yeah. So it was Microtraction. And so they were like, hey, we want to learn more about what you're doing. I honestly didn't take the conversation seriously.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was like, they just want to learn more about what we do. And then they came back and said, actually, we want to invest. And I said, so wow, I didn't botch the conversation. I didn't botch it. So that moment I said, okay, I will like quit my job. And then,
already?
Yeah, after that, like a month later, I quit my job at Amazon and focused on Clafiya full time.
That is amazing. This was 2020?
2021.
Okay, 2021.
Yeah.
What was 2020 like for you? With the lockdown and all?
I don't think I really capitalized on 2020 for real. Okay. I was very anxious.
Yeah.
Why? I was already working from home, so that wasn't really the thing, or I wasn't concerned about my health.
Yeah.
I was concerned about my brother's health because he has like pre-existing conditions, but not my health. I was very anxious because Deloitte at the time, they were going through a series of layoffs.
Okay.
And they didn't have any rhyme or reason to how they were doing it. Yeah. Like, are you familiar with Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Red Wedding scene where like people would just die like, and like, oh yeah. So that's what it was at Deloitte.
Wow.
You'd be working with a coworker on Monday, and later on that day they'll say, "Oh, I'm leaving," and then Friday the same thing. So, like, you spend the entire week. And they would just send you a calendar invite, like no context, and that's when you knew that you're being
that's
laid
your
off.
Offboarding call.
Yeah, and then they would shut off access to everything. Wow. So Monday to Friday, you're living in like this anxiety, like, oh, is it my turn? Then you get to Friday and like, okay, I made it. But then over the weekend, you know that somebody's getting an email on Monday. So then over the weekend, you're still anxious. So I was very anxious, but looking back, like I wish I wasn't. I wish I took the opportunity to really do the things I wanted to do, which is like be outside more often. And eventually I did. Like I got to take road trips. Right. I got to bike a lot. So go on trails. So that's what I was doing during the pandemic. But I wish I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I get to be at home now.
So, because I've had a lot of founders on the show over the years, and I find that 2020 was more like a defining year for most of them, including myself, because I started the podcast in 2020 as a result of the lockdown. Because, everyone had been locked up for a while, and I was craving that human connection, because prior to the lockdown, I was a couch potato, right? I hardly left my house. So I began to see a future where if I didn't interact more with people, I wouldn't get what I was trying to get.
I'm the opposite of that.
Interesting.
I'm pretty introverted and I'm happy to be at home. I
don't have an issue with that because I was, but interestingly, this podcast made me much more open and extroverted, right? Because I have to be a people person to actually host something like this. So many founders that have come on the show have said that they started ideating on their product or their company 2020 because they had so much time. Some were laid off, and that anxiousness and beginning to think of, can't I build something that doesn't rely on constant human interaction, like manually, to scale or to be profitable or to be sustainable. So 2020, interesting year for myself and so many other founders we've had, but that's fine. So now you had quit your job at Amazon to focus fully on Clafiya. What were the initial steps you took? Obviously, I know you were working closely with Microtraction at the time to like bring this idea to life, but tell us what that story was like.
Yeah, to be honest, like I didn't really have a plan after I quit. It was just like, okay, I quit and Microtraction has invested, so I have to...
It was left for you to figure it out.
Yeah, like I have to do this thing now. But Microtraction, I would say, like we met with them a lot and I think like the time when I met with them and they would say things like, "Oh, you're so early." I'm just like, "What do you mean?" But
I mean, that's always a conversation.
yeah,
You're always too early.
but now now like from where we are and what we were then, I'm like, yeah, we were definitely
early.
very green, like very very green. So I mean, it was more so trying to figure out like where do I want to live? Do I want to kind of do the whole back and forth thing? My sister and I were living together at the time, so we were both going through like transitional times. She was moving to Texas for her residency program in med school, so she is a doctor in our family.
Nice.
And then I had quit my job, and I'm like, I have to do this thing. So it was just more so trying to get into market, and then I went to Nigeria, or came here for some time, and just I call what I was doing then like really trying to understand the market. So like working with our community health workers, trying to understand customers, and I wasn't concerned about investment. It was just more so like
understanding the problem and how to solve the problem.
Like even if like what we were doing, is it right? Like like is it correct? So that's what I was more concerned about, like getting refining our product and making sure it's easy for our customers to use. So
So what was like building the founding team? I imagine you're not technical.
No, I am kind of, but I don't flex it these days. But I did have a co-founder at some point, but
How did you guys meet?
I met her. So we had mutual friends.
Okay.
I met her officially. She's someone I had heard of, but I had met her officially at a concert.
Okay.
I think 2016.
Oh wow.
And at the time, I think she was either getting a MPH, so a Master's in Public Health, or she had finished it. But anyway, so we stayed in touch, and like when I started to really get into what I wanted to do with Clafiya, like she was working in Nigeria at the time, so she was the only person I knew that was working in Nigeria but doing things in public health, and so I would like pick her brain a lot. And then we had pitched on a pitch competition, and that naturally people already assumed that we were co-founders. And so that is how like we essentially became that's how we became co-founders. And then like the other team members, it was more so like just trying to find people who can help us like build out our platform. So I started building it out, but then like I said, it's not something that I flex. So our first hire, I found him on I think it was like Upwork or the equivalent to that. And then
Nigerian?
Nigerian. All our employees have been Nigerian.
Oh, nice. And
then they, help refer us to other talent and how to learn what it's like to have talent in Nigeria.
Manage
to manage a team. So, I have my growing pains with that. Yeah.
Fantastic. How did you come about the name Clafiya?
So, Clafiya,
because it's a very interesting name.
Yeah. So the name Clafiya roughly translates to community wellness.
Okay.
So C for community and Lafiya in Hausa means I'm well, or
Okay. So, nice.
Yeah. So I just like cool. The main thesis for Clafiya is to build healthy communities. Right. However, we do that by bringing healthcare closer to you, or helping it be more accessible or affordable. It's at the end of the day, it's to build healthy communities. Yeah. And so that's essentially how I came up with the name.
That's
Clafiya.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What's so. Obviously, building in healthcare, in fact, any industry in Nigeria is a challenge, but healthcare specifically, because I've had a few founders that are building in this industry as well, and they've shared their challenges with me, a lot of which are often external than internal because of how unstructured our system here in Nigeria is. What has the challenge been for you guys at Clafiya, externally and then some internally as well?
Externally, it's infrastructure.
Yeah.
You're trying to serve a populace that doesn't understand healthcare. It's from the experience and why it's important. I think they do, but it's very reactionary. And not even just in Nigeria. I think it's like that everywhere in the world. Right. But what you would see in the world is that, in other places of the world, is that they have the infrastructure and they have some sort of mechanism for you to have it covered from a financial perspective. So really, it's the choices. Do I want to go access healthcare or not? But here, it's like the infrastructure is not there, and then the populace also doesn't understand why health is important. So those, I would say, is like the two like major things externally that I feel like affects us. Then there's like, funding, but I don't really like to talk about funding because it's like it is what it is. What it is.
Yeah. So internally, what are some of the challenges that you guys are trying to navigate?
I think for us internally, like speaking personally for me, is like talent. So making sure that you have the right people to like not necessarily just have the skill set, but understand what it means to like what it means to actually like build a startup. And that's why I think, I'm really happy that there was a time where people became very excited about African innovation and startups and tech, and they poured a lot of money into it. But what I then saw was that there was this pressure or this need to become too big, too fast. And
I mean, we're seeing crazy valuations 2021, 2022, early 2023.
I'm not even concerned about the valuations. I think it's just more so of the things that we were all doing, like getting a nice office and having all these perks, and you didn't really understand the business. And so I remember during that time it was very hard for me to get talent because they came in with an expectation that it was almost like kind of like you were fulfilling other needs that I think maybe the government should fulfill, or like, and I'm just like, we're a startup.
I mean, you should know that funding is like limited.
It's like we're a startup, so we don't have the luxury to do all these things. So it's that, and that's and then I guess like talent externally as well. Like we work with health professionals, and so like them
that are not so professional.
Actually, I won't say that because that's not our experience with Clafiya. Like customers have great experiences with our health practitioners. But obviously, like that's for the ones we work with. We don't have control over the ones that are partners that we work with, right? But I do agree. There are some unprofessional health providers, and then there are some that are actually really good and enjoy what they do. And I see that because our customers tell us that. But it was more so like the limited capacity of them, where you don't have that many doctors, that many nurses, and then not even enough like health facilities that our customers can go to. So those are the things like internally and externally. And then the economy is like kicking all of our butts. So as an employer, as an employer, you feel that, right? Because then your employees are feeling that too. So it's just those things.
Amazing. Because what I hear you say is because you have spoken to working in a country where people don't really see the problem as you see it. So I think is more of like needing to sensitize the public, right? Are you guys doing anything directly to influence that?
So before we started, you talked about like our campaigns, right? I feel like that's like a very big and critical like gap in the market that I think only those who can tap into the psyche of people know that that's a gold mine. Because like I've seen in this market that people resonate with who they trust.
Right.
And in healthcare, there are a few, like a Proco doctor, so like he's a very big healthcare influencer. We need more of him. Like that's what we need. We need more like champions of healthcare and actually educating the market. And I find that those companies that do a great job educating the market are the winners. Like PiggyVest, right? Like, you know, there are so many different saving and investment platforms or so many banks, but they did the job of educating customers.
That's very true.
And so that's why they own the market now. That's what I believe like is a gap in the market. And so that's why we started to do these campaigns, even if it means like I am at the forefront of it. Because we truly have to educate our customers on healthcare.
I mean, is also, sorry to cut you short, because we've had some insurtech founders as well, and they are also speaking to the need for sensitization, because people don't see the need to insure their life, property, and the rest. I mean, we have a long way to go in terms of how the population can help founders solve their problems. Wow.
But I think it's even that. I think, unfortunately, like that's what we as founders have to do. We just have to do the job of educating the market in a way that they even understand, you know, and that's what I feel like a Proco doctor, you know, so gets right. Like, and other people who do that well, like they just have found a way to tap into the psyche of customers. So for us, like we've seen a very big tick in telemedicine. And, you know, that's also been driven by our partnerships, but before, what we would see is that customers are searching for telemedicine.
Really?
And then they would say, oh, I found you because I was searching for telemedicine. But
that's interesting.
But if from the outside looking in, it's very easy to say that, oh, yeah, people don't want to talk to doctors virtually. But people are looking for that. Like people are actually searching for that. So then it's like, how do you position yourself to solve their problem? So they have to find you. You have to do more sensitization, more education. That is, I feel like that is the money there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Clafiya platform application. What can a customer gain or enjoy from accessing the application?
So on our platform, customers can do 3 things. They can save for their health and earn interest. They can, so they earn like 10% on our platform. They can access healthcare directly on our platform. So speak to doctors, order medication, diagnostics, mental health. I feel like, you know, what I really like about Clafiya is that we've built an experience that I've never experienced anywhere else. Like in my home, I can speak to my doctor. I have my medications come to me. I have someone pick up a sample for tests. I've not stepped foot in a hospital in Nigeria since I've been here. And that's because I have Clafiya.
Like this is real.
Yeah, this is real.
Like you're saying this on air.
Yeah, I've not stepped foot in any hospital in Clafiya because I have everything that comes to me. And then we have like 3,000 health and wellness partners where our customers can walk in and get discounts off of like, you know, medications, for example, or lab tests. So we've partnered with MedPlus. They give our customers between like 5 to 10% off using their HSA. We're partnering with SynLab and we partnered with Adidas, you know.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So our customers get discounts.
Do you know what? Tell me about that story. How did that partnership come to be?
Honestly, so I love sports.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to do something with sports when it came to health. Yeah. And so like I walked into their flagship store. I'd been sending them emails trying to reach out, but I walked into their flagship store and I said, hey, I want to partner with you guys. Who do I need to talk to? Yeah. And then they put me in touch with the person I need to speak to. And that's essentially how it happened. That's just how I want to work with you guys. Let's make it work.
So, I mean, that speaks a lot to the need for human interactions again. Because I find that very senior execs, they prefer like in-person meetings and relationships. Because I was going to ask you about no's that you've gotten so far building Clafiya, because we don't talk so much about the no's, right? What people see outside is the success, right? So what has been the biggest no, if you can recollect now, that you've gotten that you felt like, damn, this is not nice?
So I think by the time I got that no, I had received a series of no's, so it didn't really hurt as much. I cannot say the investor
No,
because I feel like at some point they will invest in us.
Nice.
So, but it's an investor who I've been following for some time. They're based in the United States, and they've been writing a lot on healthcare around the world. And I like investors that have a thesis on what they want to invest in.
Yeah.
And so everything, it was like they published the first article.
Yeah.
The way they publish their articles is very timely.
Okay.
In 2022, they published their first article, and it was at the time when we were now trying to transition to health savings accounts, financing healthcare.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, everything they have said it was like they were in my head. And then like early this year, they published another article, and it was like when we were transitioning to like building out infrastructure.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've just been very timely. So how did I meet this investor? I went to a conference in 2024.
Okay.
One of the investors on a panel.
Right.
And I just went up to her and said, hey, I read your articles. I want to talk to you about what we're building.
All right.
And she said, send me a message on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's never going to respond.
She's not true.
But she did.
Oh, nice.
Like I sent her a message.
Made a good
yeah, so she actually like responded. And she asked me to send her a pitch deck, and I was so afraid. So for months, I didn't send it. Because they say for months I didn't send it because
oh my God,
I was just like, oh, I'm not ready, blah, blah, blah. Like, let me just wait. And then earlier this year, I mustered up the courage to actually send my pitch deck cold. Say, hey, it's been a while since we met, but, here's my deck. Right. And I was like, maybe she's not going to respond. She responded. No, she responded. Oh, nice. After a few days, I saw them looking at my pitch deck. I met with them, and they told me no. And I was just like, man, like if any investor could have invested in us, it should have been them.
Because you felt like you were a perfect fit.
Yeah, I was like, it should have been them.
Did they like give reasons why they were turning down the deal at the time, or it was just a flat out no?
It wasn't a flat out no. I think they said they wanted to see more traction, but also to be fair, like they don't really invest in Africa. Oh. So they have maybe like one or two investments in Africa, but they don't invest in Africa. But hey, I like to believe that I can, for the things I really want to do, I can do them. So I just felt like maybe we would be the third.
I like that.
But like I said, I believe at some point they will, and they are in. Like we're in their radar because I still do communicate with them, but that was a big news that I was looking forward to, but didn't like come. But I was like, it's fine. Like,
I mean, those happen.
Yeah, like we will get there. Yeah,
surely.
Yeah, so that's like the big no.
Tell us about how you guys make money at Clafiya. How you make revenue? I know you've mentioned the different ways that you serve your markets, but how do you guys make money?
So we make money from like 3 ways right now. From the spread of investments. So because we are holding, we don't, but our partner holds our customers' deposits, so we make a percentage of that. Right. Customers are actively accessing healthcare on our platform, so we make either full out payments or commissions from our partners. Okay. And the third way is from our wellness hub. We get lots of traffic that way. People going into MetPlus or Ariki Spa or SynLab or any other partner we have using their HSA to pay for things. So we make money from like transaction fees. So those are the ways we make money right now.
What has your experience been like managing people? Because I feel like the biggest part or the hardest part of building a business or managing a company is managing people, because the people make the business. How would you say you've evolved from like 2021 and now?
So it's still hard, like, because I'm not a people person. So that's something I really had to learn and learn how to flex, managing people with empathy, but also like learning the difference between like being nice and kind. I think that's one thing that has become more important to me now. I, at some point, was a chronic people pleaser. So wanting to make everybody happy. Unfortunately, in business, you cannot make everybody happy.
Very true,
the only people you really want to be making happy are your customers.
And your investors.
Your investors, but really your customers.
Truly, yeah.
And you want to make them happy all the time.
Right.
But like with people you work with, you want to make them happy, but unfortunately you cannot make them happy.
Yeah. Yourself or the business.
Yeah, but you can't do that all the time.
Yeah.
And so for me, I found myself like, when it came to like people who like letting things slide because I wanted to be nice or like coddling, because I was trying to be nice.
Right.
But over time, I felt like I was doing a disservice to myself and to the company when I had people who I feel like can't be here but I'm letting them stay because I'm like, okay, I can help them grow. I can train them. But over time, it's just not working out. Like, it's very expensive to the company, but also expensive to them because they're also not growing. Yeah. So being kind is like, you want to tell employees when they're doing something wrong, but obviously not in a way that's demeaning.
Exactly, yeah. Or condescending.
Yeah, condescending. You want to have like empathy for that. And if it's just not working out, like you also want to make sure you give them enough time, enough grace before it's just like, hey, it's not working out, or understand at the end of the day, you are working with human beings. Like you're not working with robots. And so you just have to be empathetic to that. So it's like, to be honest, there's no science to it. And for me, I just feel like I would just continue to grow in that area of my life. But that's just the biggest thing for me. It's knowing when
Have you ever considered getting a co-founder who is more comfortable, right, interacting with people, like complementing each other in that way?
I have thought of getting another co-founder. I'm very, very sensitive about what we're building and the kind of company I want to build. And so it can't just be anyone. It can't just be someone that will manage people. Like they have to, like when I mentioned raising the bar.
Right.
They have to be better than me. That's the co-founder I'm looking for.
Okay, I see.
They just have to be better than me, because that's where I feel like I would, grow, and then also the company grows as a result of having someone who is better than me. Yeah,
definitely. As we wind down, where do you see? I mean, so many things are changing, not just in the tech ecosystem here in Nigeria, but in Africa as a whole, especially with AI becoming very much there's a word I'm looking for, an integral part of our lives, right? And in businesses as well. How do you see these changes, influencing Clafiya's journey in the next 5 years and the industry as a whole?
Yeah, so with AI, I feel like in Africa, there is a clear play for AI. But what I don't want us doing is slapping AI on things because it's cool.
Yeah.
Like how does AI actually make your business better, make you efficient, make you serve your customers better? If it's not really doing any of those things, like we're just playing games when it comes to AI. So like,
no, I'm with you 100%. Right?
And so
but I mean, for some people, it's a tactic to actually get funding, right? Because investors nowadays, they want to see that as part of like your strategy or on your roadmap.
Yeah, I know investors want to see that, but investors want to see a lot of things. Like at some point, like investors wanted to see crypto Clafiya.
Wow, true.
And then
on Clafiya.
Yeah, and now it's like climate change. So like investors want to see a lot of things.
Interesting.
But that's
it's FOMO, it's
that's
FOMO.
what it is. I'm not like discrediting like an investor's experience, but I just feel like it's just very important. Even if that's what an investor wants to see, I'd rather be talking to an investor that has a clear thesis on why AI is important for my business or important for health. Not because AI is a thing and so you need to put AI in your business. Like
I hear you.
That I don't subscribe to. But for us, we are getting a lot of data points.
Right.
We see how customers are saving. We see how they're spending on their health. what they're spending it on, how they're accessing healthcare on our platform, their data. Like, I want to be able to leverage AI for that.
I got a very interesting question. Sorry again to cut you short. I hardly do this, but
it's okay.
If you can share, right? Looking at like the distribution of genders on Clafiya, your customers, is it more female than male or male than female?
We have more male customers than female. Yeah,
I thought it would definitely have been females than male.
So, I know why you say that. Because outwardly, we look like we are a women-focused brand.
Yeah, it appears that way.
Yeah. But internally,
right,
we have more male customers than women.
Interesting.
What is driving that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. But, like, also, we see that men are more willing to pay, maybe because they have more purchasing power.
Right.
When it comes to women, they will, like, delay care because they can't afford it. And that's also part of the things that, Clafiya is trying to solve with our HSAs is make healthcare more affordable for women. But yeah, we have more men than women on our platform.
Okay, final question. Advice to aspiring founders. What has worked for you that you feel, if you share with others, could also work for them along their entrepreneurial journey?
You gotta take care of yourself. Like, I mean, it sounds very cliche, but that's like the biggest advice I have because we're human beings at the end of the day. Like, take care of yourself, and part of that is setting boundaries. So when I was saying like I'm not reachable, it's a way to protect myself. Because as a founder, you are beholden to your customers, you're beholden to your investors, you're beholden to like your team. It's like, it's too much for someone to like, I don't think people actually understand that it's actually too much for like two people, one person, two people, three people to carry. And then you consider the economy, it's actually a lot, I like to believe founders do care about their team, and we're not out here like trying to be mean to everybody. Like I don't think so, but so like you have to take care of yourself, and that became very important to me last year. Like last year, I wasn't present. Like I struggled with my mental health a lot, and I saw what that did to the company because I was tired, and sometimes like founders they feel like they can't say that because then it's like, oh, like, will my investors just not believe in me anymore? But really, the people who do will stay by you, and the people who don't, you don't want them in your corner anyway. So like, I was really tired, and I had to start investing in my health. Like my health took a nosedive. I was the heaviest I'd been in my life, and it really affected me. And I'm running a healthcare company.
Wow, the irony of it.
I'm running a healthcare company, and I'm borderline pre-diabetic, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to be that. So I had to invest in my well-being, my mental health, go to the gym, eat better, and start putting those boundaries around like me being healthier. Because if you take me out, you don't have anything.
True.
So like, really, just that's the biggest thing. You have to take care of yourself. Like you're not a machine like you are. Your body is a machine, but your machine, you still need to take care of the machine.
I like that you said your body's not a machine. And this is final question, my God, because I'm getting signs.
Sorry.
So you mentioned taking care of your body and yourself. How do you unwind? Like, how do you disconnect from work when it's time to disconnect, or something like that doesn't exist for you?
No, I don't feel like I'm ever disconnected from work. I think it's just a
balance, right?
Yeah, it's like even I don't even know if the balance is there. It's just very fluid. But the one way I know that I can definitely disconnect from work is that I don't have notifications on my phone.
Really?
Yes. So,
wow. Okay, that's new.
I don't have like zero. My phone's always on silent. I don't have WhatsApp. I don't get notifications. I don't get notifications on social media. The only platform I get notifications on is Slack.
Okay.
But even emails, like I don't get notifications on emails.
Really?
That helps me to disconnect a bit. But really, I think if I was going to say unwind, is I go to the gym and then I go to sleep.
All right, nice.
That's just it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're hearing take care of yourself on the show for advice for to aspiring founders. So I mean, this is a nice it's for fresh advice actually.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for taking out the time to speak with us at length about Clafiya and your journey. We look forward to seeing you some other time. I mean, when Clafiya is probably a unicorn.
Yeah, and that one investor says yes.
Exactly.
Say yes to us.
That's been it on this week's episode. I'm your host, Kemeshi Samuel. You've been listening to Jennie Nwokoye, founder and CEO at Clafiya, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.